Hi there. I'm just making this video to talk about how I see the next year or so pan out in terms of how the evolution, the reality, the evolution of everything, the collective creation of this community has been putting together under my banner of Eumosrus, I suppose, ultimately architecturally, um, and how it will manifest itself as it begins to evolve into the reality that we expect the future to be. And evolution is the key note here because it's not just a sudden transformation in 5 seconds flat. It's a gradual build-up of different layers of player armor since, say, 2011, when the origin, say, of this Earth began in universal terms. This is when things started to get space-aged in this county, and that's a sort of gradual evolution from the Aeon of the All through to the Spirit to now, which is probably in a few days around now, we're beginning to see the beginning of the Barbalo Aeon, the third Aeon. This is sort of gradual evolution. We put layers of player armor into the processing of the whole reality of Eumosrus, the cyber-dimensional escalated reality of the universal realms of Ina and Able City as they start to manifest themselves here. And this process is the reason I use the word evolution to describe it is because in our eyes, before our very eyes, it'll be a layering reality of change. But at the same time, we won't physically see the change. There won't be a physical manifestation of the change until the final configuration or the final implementation of the assets that we are tapping into from, say, out there, from our hosts, if you like, or from people involved in space programs on this planet, like NASA, SpaceX, and other space programs, maybe from Russia and China. This reality is going to manifest itself in such a way that the build-up of player armor will be the time and place when the reality starts to change, the dimension starts to change, and everything suddenly, when everything is finally put in place, it'll be here before all our eyes. So I'm just talking you through. Basically, this is my belief. This is what I've been setting up. This is Eumosrus. This is what I'm building to. I've configured everything I can on the servers. I've done everything possible. I've driven around the brim umpteen times in the last couple of years since my dad died. And basically, I think I've done pretty much the definitive ride on that one a few days ago. And I think pretty much I've configured everything I can on the 3 servers that is physically possible. I don't know. I mean, we don't know if it's going to happen. It might happen. It might take longer. It might be a bigger process. We may end up having to call in heavy-duty infrastructure to make it happen. But it's my belief, it's my whole credo, my whole belief in what I've been doing so far, is that this reality is going to happen and it's going to take us by storm in a few days' time. Everything after the Barbalo is complete, everything will just come in place, and the reality will be there before us. Now, what goes into this, the making behind the whole reality, the Barbalo Aeon, are various space programs. I know a lot of this community have taken spiritual odysseys in a certain way, in many ways, shapes, or form. But it's also true that these spiritual space odysseys that people attest to on the Gaia channel, you may watch that on Gaia.com, and you see that these people have been out there on, say, the Dark Fleet or other programs, like I believe there's a secret NASA and there are various other things like Solar Warden, which people are involved in. Now, this is all the sort of small print, if you like, of the in-your-face global space programs of what we actually have in place on this planet. But since Hitler, there's been a big war going on, if you like, which has finally, come to a conclusion. The good guys are winning, the Alliance have won, and things are all in good place. These things, can be taken literally or with a pinch of salt. I think we can probably do both we can probably take them as spiritual odysseys in our reality in this community in Gloucestershire. And we can say that a lot of us have been out there, and there's some tangible resources coming back. There's Pleroma, there's infrastructure, technology, and a lot of people see these things happening on the planet, and they think, hey, you know, that's sort of my thing. You know, that's what I've been doing. And what I'm trying to encourage people to do is pool their resources, bring it back to them, and make it into something of their own business. You know, their own hobbies, their own ideas, their own artworks, all that sort of thing, and turn it into something that is their own enterprise that they can make into a physical reality. You know, and launch it as potential for a space program on this planet. Now, what the idea of Eumosys is, under the umbrella of Eumosys, everyone will be able to pull these resources and turn it into something that is much more futuristic in this zone, as well as having all the ethos of the countryside, like I said in the earlier video. But the most important thing with this reality is to understand what each and everyone has been doing and what part they've been playing in this whole process. Say at where I was blank slated in my reality, where I actually got back to blank slate and got back to zero. The reality that manifested itself for me was obviously suddenly I realized I had potential for indestructibility or long life, and this was put upon me in a really harsh way. I went through a hell of a killing, I suppose. You know, I went through a hell of a death and came through it the other side alive. And I thought, you know, there's a chance. This is what gave me the seed of faith that planted me. And I got into this whole creative reality where I started engendering the seeding of the universe, I suppose, for 10 years. I call it my sort of Playboy life, where I didn't do much, but just went around seeding the universe and all over the planet, especially in this location in Gloucestershire, where I did it mainly. But ultimately, you know, that came to a head. I got back to where I come from in my mind, and I fell in love with a girl in France. And when I fell in love with her, basically all this pleroma came through me, all the creation that I've been building up and storing up, maybe inside me or around me or whatever. And it all manifested itself here in 2011 with the all. But during that time, the Playboy life, it's my theory that I'm more sure now that I was involved in something to do with an off-world reality. In '97 I'd been kidnapped in Algeciras, and something had come out of me. I wasn't physically kidnapped, but my middle name is Nicholas. I believe he was taken out of me, and when I was taken into like portals or whatever, and went through a whole space program. There's a whole reality, the sort of secret NASA and all this sort of thing that people don't quite understand. Who are lay people in our community that only believe in, like, you know, what they say in NASA and all that sort of thing. And I don't object to that. You know, that's there for a reason. That's the whole commodities asset return to this planet. You know, that's what we're using. But actually, you know, the reality of NASA and everything like that has a whole body of infrastructure and money coming in, like the international corporate conglomerate and all that sort of thing. And there are many things involved that mean there's an unlimited amount of cash coming to this planet. And certainly a lot of the things I'm trying to build up and create in this community mean that people get a share of this money as long as they contribute on a contributionist level. If you look at the videos of Michael Tellinger and the Ubuntu movement, you know, that's the plan. That's what we want to try and do. But in the process of doing this, when I was seeding this reality on Earth in this location, in these sort of movie set days, every day we went out at 12 p.m. And the sun was bright, everything was perfect, and the reality that I was involved with, in my mind, was a multi-million-year operation off-world where we were implementing the seeding of the universe and creative ops. You know, in the Dark Fleet, say that I was actually implementing creative ops against the sort of black ops, and turning it into a sort of cyber reality in space that could actually manifest itself here on Earth, because I was physically here on Earth in the body that I'd become to exist in after I went through all those experiences at the Black Ark. And this whole process is a gradual return to my mind where I fall in love, and then I think that whole process has moved me towards the Alliance and a different agenda to do with the inner Earth realities and all that sort of thing. There's another facet of this, which I think a few other people in this community may understand, is that the manifestation of Eumosrus and Ino in Able City is actually the coming of Nibiru. So the planet Nibiru is planet X, which is X a certain distance from us, opposite the sun. It's much bigger than ours, but it has like a core inside it, and I believe I was pipelined into this core to actually be the engineer of the platform of Eumosrus. So we make the city, the realm of Ina, the universal realms, inside the core of Nibiru. Because if you think about the realities of planets, it's not necessarily all fire and brimstone in the middle. There's like a honeycomb Earth, there's like a sun, like a light bulb, all that sort of thing, you know, artificial sun inside the Earth with extraterrestrial-like creatures who fly around and do things. This is basically my understanding of what was going on in Nibiru. We were hewing out the reality of like a physical manifestation of the universal realms inside this planet, so that when it comes here, when it has come in this reality to physically plant itself here with the agenda of building up the atmosphere of Nibiru, because in the past there had been war on Nibiru, they'd lost their atmosphere, and they came here to create the Adam race, the race of Adam, and to build up Pleroma from the existence of this, taking gold from the planet, basically using the Adam as a miner, and using all his descendants as miners, and turning it into like gold dust that would actually rebuild their atmosphere. This failed. We knew it didn't work eventually, and the ultimate reality is the return of Enlil Enki Enki to this planet, to manifest the reality of this atmosphere through creating a cosmic reality inside, which would actually build up the atmosphere by breathing out through the planet this creation and the pleroma that comes from the reality of the universe on the planet, and all the thriving enterprise that would generate from it, and all the things, the commodities that we would equip ourselves with, and how this would create interest in technology and more of this abundantly free, life-giving spirit that we have so strong in this county, and that every summer since 2011, we are proud to be the manifestation of the origin of that in this zone in Gloucestershire. You know, the planet eventually, you know, seals the reality within, prevents leaching out of the pleroma and losing our physicality. And gradually, as the space program is developed in this pleroma, so we won't see them actually happening, but there'll be a physical reality of these space programs putting the physicality of Ina in place in this location. As the pleroma lifts and everything is in physical reality, then it'll suddenly take a hard density. The platform will be physically there for the reality of you all see. Now, you know, if I'm wrong, you can shoot me. Okay, you're welcome to shoot me if I'm wrong. I haven't necessarily proven myself to be wrong yet. I think a lot of people doubted that I could do certain things like the manifestation of the life book and various other things. I think gradually I'm proving all my critics wrong, and I'm saying, you know, my computer science may be a bit out there, not as we know it, Jim, but actually it does do something, and it is bringing about physical reality of things, and it's changing the game in the way media and communications are working on this planet. I also have a system I've generated called the IPVXYZ system, which is basically a new way of categorizing the universal realms and locating them on Earth. I made a few videos about that on my websites. But for all you guys who don't know what the hell I'm talking about and have no idea what I'm talking about, and I don't know where this is coming from and have no expectation of anything, my tip to you is just have a quick look at my websites, umosras.uk, umosras.uk, and spacetm.uk, and also Saeera.uk, Saera.uk, which is the way we train people. We give people a mind training so they can understand the physicality, the way, the makeup of their universal endeavors. So they turn their artistic talents, artisan talents, into universal realities, and contributes to the platform reality and the abundance of Playerama that we can turn into universal assets ultimately. But there's a training program, and on the console of the Lifeboat, people will be able to access. You'll already be able to see that on there. You'll be able to get a kernel up there, and do some computer programming yourself. Try some stuff out yourself. If you've got a rough idea of what we're doing, what I'm doing, try it yourself. See if you can tap into the Playerama, turn it to your will, and make it into something that can be a physical manifestation of your creative realities, and see if you can come up with your own enterprises yourselves. Because the idea is that we have as many practices as we can, making this the most profitable city on the planet, and ultimately a future reality that will take the whole world by storm. That's the plan. We're going to change the way people do business on this planet. We're going to change the way people use money, and we're going to change the way the space programs operate, and give it a far more far-reaching reality than is actually humanly possible at the moment with the NASA programs and everything else. That's a big plan, the Inner Space Program, the ESP. No, seriously, guys, I appreciate you all for believing in me. I appreciate for the hard work that you're all doing behind the scenes to get me to do what I do and to fit in with what I'm doing, and doing your own things, and all the work that you're putting in place. Because collectively, this is a fantastic community. It's the most creative part of the planet, in my opinion, the Gloucestershire Realms. And I think potentially we could be the new California with non-microchipped, no consumer restraints, and with an arc web infrastructure that we can channel information media technology through the light web that is much more efficient and takes off the cap that is put in our way to prevent us escalating in an orderly direction. So actually what we can actually do is we remove the cap and we move towards a far higher density of what can be achieved. The legal organizational direction becomes something that is sky's the limit, and beyond the sky, out into the universe and the wider realms. So thanks for listening, and please check my websites out, and big respect to our sponsors for tonight and the people who have come to show their respect to this community. And I look forward to seeing you all the next time I'm thirsty. Okay, see you soon. Bye.